everyone, and welcome back to the podcast where you decide if that makes sense. I want to give first the biggest shout out to everybody who subscribes to the channel, all 407 of you as of now. Thank you so much for being very active with the podcast so far. For those who share the episodes, we are super, super grateful. So today's episode is quite an interesting one because it's something I feel I experience, and I'm sure a couple of you also experience. And for those who don't, let's just see maybe what the dynamic is like. It is friendship with your parents. I know some people are thinking, what, how, when, why? Others are thinking, yeah, that's normal. That happens. So let's get to see that dynamic. And who better to have this with? And the person I keep mentioning on my stories, on my Instagram posts all the time, because I'm always with her. And that's my beautiful mom, Flash Mburu. So she'll get to introduce herself, and then we'll go through a set of questions that just show you what our dynamic is like. And maybe you can get to think about what your dynamic is with your parents. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Chrissy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
It's interesting. I'm asking you how you are, yet we've driven here a whole hour together.
For the camera.
Yes, for the camera.
Right.
Are you excited to be doing this episode?
Yeah, I'm excited. Pretty much.
Okay.
Right.
Also, you're looking really nice.
Thank you.
We look alike. We do. Thanks. Confirmed by the camera people.
Right. I've always been close to my kids.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 children. I have Tamara and Christine, and they are twins. I have always been very close to them throughout all seasons, throughout the years.
Yeah, I agree. I confirm, I concur. Yeah, we've been very close with Mom. I have a twin sister, but for the sake of this episode, I think we'll focus more on me, because everyone assumes because you have a twin, it's the same kind of flow and relationship. Not really. So maybe one day we'll have Tam and maybe have her and Mom talk about it. But I completely agree. We have been very close. Yeah, because Mom has been there literally since day one. So yes. How would you describe your parenting style in primary school, then in high school, and now in campus?
Okay. In primary school, let me say it was tougher, deliberately, because your daddy wasn't around much. That's when he was living in the US. And so I was dad and mom. So I had to be a bit tough, because the discipline, I have to love you, I have to box you, I had to do all that. Then come high school, it was a bit easier. I relaxed the reins a lot. But again, you are teenage. You want to grow horns, you want to have your way, you want to test my patience, test this. So again, I'm relaxing. I don't want to lose the friendship, but I'm still mom. Mm-hmm. Come college, I mean, hey, I've taught you everything. Taught you values, taught you manners, taught you boundaries. So where cheza kama wewe.
Yeah.
So now is when we now became real friends. No need to hold reins, no need to, because, I mean, you already know yourself and you know the drill. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. To give context, Dad was away for a while. He'd gone to study. So like Mom has said, she was Mom and Dad for a while, I think until class 2. So yeah, things were tough. In the best way and in the worst way. There were times, and I think we even talked about it when we got to campus, there were times it was very scary, because she has to go to work, she has to discipline us, food has to be ready, everything. So there were times, Tam and I would just be like, hey, ato kivunja thamos, my friend. That's it. So I think, she was really the disciplinarian in that aspect. And I remember in primary school, now after Dad came back, there was an ease of pressure, because now she gets to just be mom. So I think it became easier to, bounce things off her. Moshene became better or easier, because now we have the time.
Yeah.
Now we can just talk about anything, because Dad is back and he's now taking up his position.
Yeah.
High school, I also remember us now starting to form the friendship, pole, with both you and Dad, but a lot with you, because now girl stuff, we had a lot we needed to talk about. But I remember in high school, I don't know if you remember this part. In high school, I don't remember what happened, but we had our first big fight, me and you. I don't even remember what it was about, but I remember feeling so angry and frustrated, and we'd gotten to a point where I could tell you, and I was so mad. So I went to my room
and banged the door.
I was pissed off, and Tam was like, "This is it. Today she's being chased away." But because of although our family dynamic is, mom and I are very similar, so we can be very hot-headed.
Yeah.
So Dad and Tam calmed it down.
Yeah.
And interestingly for me, that's when I knew, yeah, I can tell her anything, still have to be respectful.
Yeah.
But if I'm able to get to a point where my feelings can rise that much and still show it, yeah, then our campus, of course, now we became best of friends. We're hanging out all the time, giving each other all the stories. So I'd say her parenting style has changed over the years.
Yeah. All right. For me, I think there are two. Let me say, for one is when Christine was in 2nd grade. And I was working in a big firm, which was very busy, international organization that was very busy. And I had this boss who was very, what's the word? Malicious and unfeeling and insensitive. So there was a parents' day, that is 2nd grade. And I had been told, we had been told notice had come, we were supposed to go for the parents' day. And so I told her I need to go. I told her way in advance, I need to go for my children's parents' day. And she said, oh, you can't go because of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I was like, okay, all right. So I didn't go. And in the evening, I get home. And here is Christine and Mommy, I have so many gifts. So she had an umbrella, you had a school bag, you had, I don't know what. There was a photo, you know this camera, people who take photos on the spot and the photos come out. So there was a photo with you in that gear I used to wear for Girl Guide, that brownie. That brown stuff, looking all pretty, receiving gifts. And there was this teacher with you. And I was like, why is this teacher? Because I didn't have a parent. So the teacher decided to volunteer to come and stand with me every time. And it was photo after photo after photo. And I was so mad with my boss. So mad. And I swore to myself, I will never fail to be there for my children's ceremony, whatever it is. So the next term, I told my boss, there is this, whatever, and I need to be there. She told me, no. I told her, listen, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. She was like, no, Flash. I was like, you know what? You want my resignation? This is it. I had just about had it. I came for the parents' day. Nothing happened to my job. And that's when I realized I will always be there for my children. Even to this day, you notice every occasion, I am their biggest cheerleader. And it was a game changer because I'm a mental health practitioner, a psychologist. And I say, your children are there once. Your children are children once. So if you miss it, you miss milestones, you've missed it. So I think that was quite a game changer. The other one was when Christine, I think she was in 1st grade. She had a growth around her ear. And so she was going for an operation, and I had arranged with the doctor, booked an appointment, everything. So I was preparing her psychologically. So, Mommy, you're going to go for an operation, and this is going to happen. And she told me, okay, but Mom, you say God can do anything. So let's pray for God to remove this thing. And I was thinking to myself,
it's not how it works.
Girl, it doesn't work like this. But anyway, let me humor you. So I told her, you want to pray? She was like, yeah. So innocently, she just told God in her own words to remove this thing so that she does not have to go for an operation. Believe me, the following morning, it was gone, gone. My relationship with God changed. To this day, I still am embarrassed at how my faith was little compared to Christine's faith. That, again, was a game changer in my relationship with Christine. And with God.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like you're talking about somebody else, not me. Not me. And yeah, those were such interesting times in my life. I think the thing that has two areas I knew our relationship has completely changed for the absolute best was that time when we had that fight, but that was much later on. And interestingly, you'd think a fight would make you think, yeah, my mom doesn't like me. Interestingly, it just made it so much better because I felt heard, I felt listened to, I felt appreciated in every single way. I'd say another time when I felt like this has really defined our relationship was in campus. We were in campus. No, post-campus, I think, something very recent. And I was going through the worst heartbreak that I've had. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My heart was in shambles. And I remember calling mom, telling her I'm coming home. And we talked about it, but we were silent all the way home as we drove home. Got there, and I remember us being under the tree. And I'm telling her the pain I'm feeling, I'm crying, and I kept asking her, have you gone through this? And she tells me, yes, I have. And I did the same thing. I came home to my mom. And now this is what was key for me. My heart was so broken. I blacked out. I just slept. Like we're under the tree, I'm telling her something, and I think I was so done, I slept. Mom just went, did what she was doing, came back, checked on me. I remember dragging myself to her bed. And I slept there.
I actually slept in my bed.
I literally just slept in her bed. And she came, she sat there. I don't even know what you were doing because I kept waking up to see you just sitting there. And I remember at some point crying. And I'm sure she thought I was crying because I'm heartbroken, but I was crying because of how much I felt loved.
Oh.
I kept thinking, no one can love me like this, to the point where you fully understand what I'm going through and you're there and you're present. So I think, I even want to cry now. I think that made me think, your mom will always love you no matter what happens. Even a boy cannot come between you and your mom. And I'm really grateful that you have me like that. You are also our cheerleader in the best way. Every event we have, my mom sits at the front with her camera. And you know how millennials hold these things. And she will take those photos and she will take as many photos and worship with us, especially in my growth in God.
Yeah.
You've been front and center of it. So I can't thank you enough for that. I love you.
Love you too.
Next question as we cry. I would say not. Because if it was out of responsibility, then we'd have a transactional relationship. I wouldn't share as much as what happens in my life. So I'd say no. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also for me, there's a song that says, I knew I loved you before I met you. So it's definitely not transactional. I would give the world for my kids. It's definitely not transactional. Yeah.
Interesting fact about that song. When you told me that I'd heard the song before, but after you told me why you loved it so much, I literally have a playlist. I promise you, if you check right now, songs I will sing for my kids.
I sang when I was pregnant.
Yeah. And I told myself, that's a song I'm singing to my kid. And it's so crazy because I don't know if when the group sang that song, they were singing it for someone they love.
Oh.
It wasn't a child.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But it's amazing how a song takes completely new meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's definitely not transactional.
Okay, for me, it's safety. Safety. That's friendship. That you can tell your child stuff. Okay, for a parent, you need to have boundaries. I won't share with them my problems with daddy, the beef, or maybe what we are going through. That's not their place. They're children. But for a mom, my friendship with them is such that I want them to feel safe with me. They can know I'll celebrate their wins and I'll be with them even through the valley. I like looking at it like the relationship I have with God. I don't feel judged. I know He's there for me. He will discipline me because the Bible says He disciplines those He loves. So that's the same transaction I want to have with my children, that they are safe with me. I'll celebrate with them. I'll empathize with them. If we need to cry together, we cry together, we laugh together. they should feel safe and they should be assured. Again, let me say, like my relationship with God, that no matter what, I got them. No matter what, we can do this. Yeah.
Just to echo what Mom has said, it's the same thing. For me, it feels like being able to be very transparent with your parent, to tell them exactly how it is. But of course, because we are all trying to figure out our life, we don't say every single thing, because some mistakes you want to keep to yourself. Some things I keep thinking, I'm going to let her down, so maybe let me tell her after the fact, after it has happened. But just knowing that I can still be able to tell you even after the fact. It's not something I have to hide. I keep thinking, I don't know if there's an area of my life that you are completely out of touch with, and I like it that way. And if there is, it's something I'm thinking, yeah, we'll talk about this later, you know? So I think it's the safety a parent is able to provide, and as a child, the transparency you're able to have with your parents. Yeah. Am I open about my dating life with my mom? Yes. 100%. There is not a guy that can show up and say they've dated Christine and my mom doesn't know. If you can say that, then you are not dating me. You weren't. Yeah. So my mom knows about my dating life. Almost everything. Because like I said, there are mistakes I think, like let's say things I've done to somebody and I'm thinking, yeah, that one I did, so let me just leave it as it is. But she is very aware, and very much because I need a lot of guidance when I'm dating people. I'm the kind of person who is very open with people. I love everyone openly, sometimes a bit too naive to some things. So I quickly tell her who I'm dating, what's going on, and she'll tell me, yeah, Hapa, this guy is probably not it. And the approach she's pointed out very clearly to the fact that they're probably not my type and this is gonna end. And the people she vouches for, mpaka I wonder, are they your child or am I your child? So yeah, I am very open about my dating life to my mom.
Was this the same case with you and your parents?
Yes and no. I never talked to my mom about my dating relationships because I come from the background where, what are you doing with a boy if you're not getting married? So unless it's very serious, izo unajiwekea. So that one, no. But many other things, yeah, I shared with my mom. But dating life, nah. And that's why I told myself, if I ever get a girl, I would want her to be free, because there are things you go through and you wish you could share with your mom, but you couldn't. Mercifully, I have an older sister, so that's the person I went to.
Yeah.
Right.
And let me just add, like you've said, if you're not able to share who you're dating and what's going on, you can imagine now going through heartbreak.
Yeah.
Where do you begin?
Yeah.
Because your mom didn't even know in the first place that you were with somebody. So I think that's why it was easier even to share that moment, because she knew the person, she knew what was going on. And from an objective point of view, I'll add, she has also met the serious people I've dated, because I value her opinion and I value my sister's opinion. So I like it when they meet these people, so they can give me a bit of a, like she can suss it out kidogo and be like, yeah, this guy is nice, or this guy,
Forget
about him. Immediately no. Yeah.
Yes, a lot. My mom was a working woman, so I've learned. So she loves me. I know she loved us, I know. But she was so busy making ends meet for us that she never really had a lot of time for us. And that's why for me, I'm very deliberate on the time I give my kids. I am very, very deliberate. I will set aside time deliberately to be with my kids. Yeah.
When is the right time to create healthy boundaries? I could be wrong because I don't have kids.
Yeah.
But I think from the very beginning, because I feel it's difficult to say, for example, an emotional boundary. if I want my mom, for example, to be kinder to me with how she speaks to me, and I want to be kinder in how I speak to her, we can't just flip a switch after high school. From nursery, she needs to be kinder to how she speaks to me. I need to be respectful in how I speak to her. Or let's say in the beginning stages, she used to tell me all the drama they had with dad and all the issues. And then suddenly in high school, you stop telling me. I don't think it would work really well. But imagine if from the very beginning, we are kinder to one another, we talk to one another vizuri, and like she said, she shields me from certain things. It continues easier even when we grow up. So I'd say from the very beginning is where you can form foundational boundaries with your kid.
I agree with that, because when it comes to manners and behavior either of speech, of touch, and even emotional, it starts when someone is a child. So boundaries, you teach a child from the minute they start to understand themselves, start to speak. What can I say? What can I not say? How much should I share? How much should I not share? How far is far enough? You teach a kid's boundaries from when they are young, because for many children, how you relate with your parents determines, or with your family, determines a lot the people you relate, your relationship with other people, whether it's official or even friends, in matters of boundaries, in matters of empathy, in matters of being used or misused. It all starts from home. We say psychoanalysis. It's all about how you are brought up. You create boundaries, because boundaries make you learn the safety measures. How far is far? When is someone crossing their boundaries? It starts from the onset. And that's why sometimes you find spoiled kids. So you are trying to discipline your child much later. It may go south. It may backfire very badly. So you need to start some of these things when a child is very small. Consistency is actually the word. On boundaries, consistency. Yeah.
What kind of boundaries?
Okay, let me say, for me, the boundaries I have is I don't tell her when I'm going through bad stuff. She's my child. It's up to how much she can handle. At her age, she's going through so much. There is school, graduation, there is dating, there is job, there is podcast, or she has money issues. The last thing she wants is to know mom's struggles, whether they are emotional or whatever. Again, I try not to expose her in even the larger family issues. I don't want her to have a bias on her uncles and aunties. She doesn't need to know. If she gets to know, let her know on her own. If it matters of my political point of view, whoever I am pro or anti, I will let her know when we are talking, but I have boundaries. She's a grown-up now. You vote for whoever, you know. So I think as a parent, I understand now she's grown up. I have my boundaries. There are things I want to know about her dating life, but there are things I won't ask. She's a grown-up. I am the mom, but I need to respect that she also has her boundaries. She lives alone. I won't just barge in and show up. Hey, I'm here, surprise. Nah, the surprise may be on me. So again, there are boundaries that I have to observe as a parent. And I have a problem with parents who just show up. There is nothing like surprise for you guys. You say you are coming. Yeah. So yeah, boundaries.
I have nothing further to say. Yeah, I think everything she said is really true. Emotionally, the boundaries, I feel, I don't even know if I've had to put up boundaries, because I think mom understands my
I put them
boundaries.
first.
She put them first. So she knows, yeah, don't ask Christine about this or ask her about this. Dating wise, same thing. It's up to what you want to share, as much as you want to share. I really respect that you also give me and Tam boundaries of our home spaces, because that's very vital. And I think everyone assumes that, yeah, don't just show up on your child's house because you'll find out with a man or with a woman. It's more than that. It's feeling like if you just barge in, then that means you don't trust me.
Yeah.
That means you're waiting to catch me doing something wrong.
And you're probably having a bad day, so you may not even be so happy to see me, and I'll start thinking, you're not even happy to see me, wrong timing. So it doesn't have to be a boy even.
Exactly, yeah. Or even the state of my home, because I know mothers are very picky with the state of someone's home. This could be the day I had assignments I needed to do, I'm planning stuff, and whatever. Then you come to my house, then you suddenly start thinking you've not raised a neat person, you've not raised a, yet I was just having a really crazy day. Recently, we also talked about boundaries in my, I'm moving into a new phase of my life in leading worship and a team and everything. And I was able to share with my mom that I'd like to make certain mistakes, you know, I'd like to be able to do things a certain way. So if you could release the reins kidogo and let me, and she was cool with it. So I think that's also allowed me personally to be able to tell you more things, because I feel like you won't always be the disciplinarian, or you won't always be the guiding force. Sometimes you're just the one to listen, to just hear what's going on.
Yeah. And let me also add on financial boundaries. I think I've spoken to my kids about how to handle their finances and Christine. And so I won't keep asking her, what did you do with your money? If she's borrowing me money and it's a loan, I don't want to know what she's doing with it. You're going to pay me? Yeah, that's fine. You can't keep, let her make her mistakes. Let her go broke because I have told her how to manage her money. But you can't keep monitoring your child. They want a loan. So what did you do with all your money? Nah, at a certain age, just,
Let them be.
let it be.
What an elder sees sitting down, a child would never see, even standing on a really tall tree. I agree. And I think it speaks to experience. There are things, no matter what I did at my age right now, even if I got married, as my mom is married, even if I got twins right now, even if I served in church like she did, even if I started psychology like she did and crammed up her whole life into 1 year of mine, I still would never be able to be as wise, be as smart, be as... I still would not. So I truly agree that there are things my mom has experienced, and because of her experience, she's wiser than I am in this day and age.
All right. For me, I'll say yes and no. I agree with her. There are things that come with experience. But again, and this is maybe because I'm a psychologist, you'll be surprised how discerning and intuitive some young people are, even more than their parents. There are some kids who will tell a parent, this is going to go down so badly, mom. But because I am mom and I'm older and more experienced, I'll ignore the kid. Then it's going to go south and I'll be thinking, you know what?
I should have listened.
Mtoto alikuwa ameniambia. And it may even be a kid in Raima. So I think there are kids, children who have a gift of discerning and discernment. And sometimes even some children's experiences of life and of a family, they see things, they know mom or dad is not so smart, but probably because you come from a toxic place, you won't even call it out. But they saw it and they know it, and the parent does not have it. Sometimes kids will even tell a parent, I don't like your friend mama so-and-so. I don't think she's for you, mom. And I'm like, no, she's just having a... But the kid actually knows, kuna ule mama hampendi na hapendi mom, lakini mom is so invested in them. So, and that's why I believe in listening to your kids. Listen to your kids. Yeah. Am I overprotective? No. Why will I say no? I am protective, but not overprotective. I've allowed them to make their mistakes. For example, dating. There are guys I have told them, this one, nah. And they've told me, mom, you are too straight and narrow. Give them a chance. And I'm like, it's okay. So I would ban them from seeing them or from whatever. And I'll listen to their relationship and they'll burn their fingers. I don't tell them I told you so, but hey, it is what it is. There are decisions they have made, there are clubs they've gotten into, and it has backfired on them. They are, with boundaries, there are things I have allowed them to go, in as much as I told them this may not go well, and it has backfired. And so sometimes just let them learn from their experience. So I'm protective, but not overly protective. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she's overprotective because my definition of overprotection is where literally every decision you make has to be vetted by your parent, has to go through a certain filter system. And maybe because we left home pretty early, right out of high school. So no matter how much they'd try to be, if they chose to, it's difficult when someone is no longer living with you, because I could tell you I'm here, but I'm not there. So that allowed a certain freedom from both my mom and my dad, where you get to do what you want to do and need to do. But I'd say the safety of coming back and being able to talk to you about it has allowed us now to even want to tell you when we make mistakes.
Yeah.
So I've seen overprotection in parents, and I've seen how your kids end up lying to you. They end up cooking stories because they know if I tell you the truth, you're going to be pissed off. But for us, because we've not been overprotected, the relationship has become easier and better. So I'd say my parents, my mom is not overprotective, and it's been a very vital thing that has helped us form a really awesome relationship. Yeah.
And right there, let me say, even allowing them to leave home immediately after campus.
After high school.
After high school, right? So many parents have asked me, you allowed your kids to leave home, and I mean, they live on their own, they just come home to visit. I'm like, yeah. I mean, you've told them the rules of life, you've told them their relationship with God, you've told them to be responsible. Eventually they will, or sometimes they won't. And that's why you see an older person, someone is 35, 30, you are working, you can get your own place, but you won't. You've been so protected that even at a point where you're supposed to actually move out, you can't. It's not a good thing. Sometimes just let your kids go. They know that if they want to come home, it's always there. It's always there. Support them. Yeah.
And I think COVID also played a part in making
that clear.
Yeah, that very clear. And also God kind of brought COVID to some extent for the Mburos specifically. Because we rarely used to go home, and not because we didn't want to, but because time. You know, you're in school all the time. If I come home on Saturday, then on Sunday I have church, then on Monday I need to be in school. So somehow during COVID, we all came back to the house. So that reminded us what life at home used to be like. And it did really make me miss fellowshipping together, because remember we always had devotions on Sundays. I grew fat over COVID because we always ate a lot, spent a lot of time together. And you see, we're able to treasure that because we'd been out of home for a while. Yeah, so I think that also really cemented our relationship.
Of my children, yes. Well, let me say up to like 5 years ago, there was pressure. Because my kids would tell me, you know, Mom, you're my role model. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I need to get everything right because these kids are looking at life through my eyes. But after that, since they moved out, like now they have their own lives, the pressure is off because now they have many role models. So now I'm not, they're not zeroing in on me. So yeah.
Yes and no for me. Yes, because not out of duty to them, but because of how I've seen them walk, especially when walking with God. I've seen them, both of them, and Mom a lot, walking with God, talking to God a lot. And I've seen his faithfulness in her life. So I do feel the pressure to also be that same kind of person in that essence, which is a good thing because a relationship with God could never be a bad thing. But no, I don't feel pressure like, Christina, I expect you by this year to have done this, by next year to have done this. They have put guidelines, and I like to call them check areas, checkpoints, so to say. So maybe at 25, if this is what you want to have done, do this, try this, figure this out. I remember one time we were talking about my wedding when that eventually comes, and you'd mentioned that if these are the things you want, then this is how you should be living financially. So you see, you could easily look at yourself as, oh, my mom expects me to live a certain kind of life, but actually it's a guide. It's a
Guideline, yeah.
a guideline, yes, as to how to live your life. So I wouldn't say that I feel like I need to meet a certain expectation. Maybe because my parents also don't have crazy expectations. It's really how you want to live your life. We're writing our own stories. So there's no, I expect Christine to do this and to be here and to do that. It's just always, what do you want for yourself? And if that's what you want, then maybe try moving in this direction. Solicited advice, that's what I'd call it.
Yeah.
It's not unsolicited, because often pressure comes from unsolicited advice. Ati, where are you in life right now? Why do you want to get married? 27. Do you even have a boyfriend, right? Now it starts. So I think I don't feel that kind of pressure.
For me, is breach of confidentiality. A breach of confidentiality. There are things Christine will tell me, and they are confidential. About people, about herself. And if I breach that, then of course the relationship stops being safe. There are things I tell her, of course, with boundaries that are also very confidential. And if she breaches again, then it's no longer safe. Again, there are things I will not expose my children to, whether it's information or places or even people, because they need to know they can trust me. I got them. I care about their psychological safety and their physical safety. So there are people and areas I will not want them to go to. Yeah, so that's it for me.
Yeah. For me, judgment. If I ever at one point feel judged by my mom, then I think that would really sever our relationship. If I ever shared a story and I felt like, and it's interesting because I don't even know what judgment would look or feel like, but I just know if it happened, that would be hard, because then I wouldn't know how else to. I'd start questioning the past and the future. I'd start thinking, so have you always just been judging me all this time, and will you always continue to judge me? So I think judgment in any way, shape, or form would be difficult, because judgment means you shared something and this person doesn't see it from your point of view, which I'm sure happens a lot of times between us. We don't see it from the same point of view. But now judgment is where I'm trying to put you down for what you've said or or your experience. So I feel that would be that would hurt. And I don't think it would be hard for us to get back from that if that happened.
Yeah. I think I will trust their choice of a life partner. I believe I have told them, we discuss relationships a lot. And I laugh at them and with them a lot. And so matters of values, spiritual values, life values, all that we've discussed. So I think when dating and choosing a life partner, they are coming from an informed space. So even if they brought a man and told me, this is it, mom, I'll put my bias aside. I will flow. Unless it's a really red flag like banner, and I'll still tell you I have my reservations, but just go. But I will trust. I will not try to look for what's wrong, Apana. You love him, you think this is it, then this is it. I'll work with.
Yeah, I think my mom, generally my parents, trust we're focusing on me today, my choice of a life partner. I think because one, I've been very open about it. if they didn't trust, then if I wasn't open, then I'd understand if they didn't trust. But if I've shared everything, then that means I'm gonna share everything. By the time I'm bringing someone and telling you this is the guy, you know what you need to know. Not everything, but you know what you need to know. And I also say that because their relationship has been very foundational in how I view my relationships. I'm not saying I want a guy exactly like my dad. I'm not saying I want to be exactly like my mom, but there are very solid values that we've picked and we say is what we want in our partners. So I think that instills some trust within them that, yeah, if they've been able to do things that way and we want things a bit similarly, then hopefully we are choosing the right kind of people. And God being front and center. And it's something I've mentioned so many times, even to my partners, the people I've dated, God has to be front and center. And I think when God is front and center, truly there's up to how bad things can get. And I think that then speaks into the kind of person I end up choosing. Yeah. You want to go first?
Right. Why do I treasure my relationship with my daughter? Oh my gosh, why would I not treasure it?
Yeah.
Because it's a friendship that, it's a blood friendship. I mean, nothing will ever separate us apart from death. And I treasure it because I feel safe with my daughter. I feel she's got me and I got her, and she can call me out. I mean, who better than your daughter to call you out, because she knows you're not gonna like fall out, you don't judge each other. So I treasure it. And until death do us part, whether she gets married and goes wherever, she's still my little girl. So I treasure it. Right.
Yeah. I think of two things when I think of why I treasure our relationship, and especially our friendship, not even the mother-daughter aspects of it. One, it's founded in God so deeply that we still are able to bounce off verses and what the Lord is speaking within us, even as we're talking about things. You could be advising me about the most random thing, but we'll still pick it from the Bible.
Yeah.
And even right now, while you were speaking, you still kept picking things from the Bible. And for me, that's so essential, because fallouts happen even between mothers and daughters.
Yeah.
Fallouts happen, but it's often because the foundation they had was just that. I'm the birther, you are the birthed. End of story. But here it's, you have a mandate to guide me, and I have a mandate to respect and to love you. The other reason I feel that this friendship is so essential to me is you have insight on every aspect of my life, every single one. And that is beautiful for a mom to have. That I don't just talk to you about money and school. I talk to you about money, school, boys, my heart, my mind, my body, when I'm my jobs. Even when I'm feeling, I can literally ask my mom, does my butt look funny? And she'll tell me, okay, yeah, maybe we need to work out a little bit. So every aspect of my life, you are in it. And I treasure that so much. I can't say that about very many people.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that brings us to the end of this particular episode. I'm so excited. As I'm saying this, the episode has not even been edited. Nothing has happened. But if we could share it as raw as it is, we would. Because this was so amazing. So thank you so much for allowing us to have you.
Yeah.
Mom has mentioned a bit that she is a psychologist, a therapist, a mediator, and a trainer. So I'm hoping that we will have her more on the podcast, especially when we start talking about mental health, when we start talking about other relationships. Because sometimes we're getting advice or we're getting voices of people who've just had their own experiences, but sometimes you need a professional to tell you how things are moving on. But anyway, that's for the future. For this particular episode, I'm excited that we got to share this. Like I said, this could be a reflection of maybe your relationship with your parent, either your mother or your father, or maybe it's not. The essence is not to make you feel like that's how my relationship should be. The essence is maybe some of these questions could guide you as to where things went wrong or where things are going really, really well. So feel free to use some of these questions for yourself, with your family, if you're able to, or to introspect and think about, is this the kind of relationship you want with your family or not? It's really up to you. And really, It's if that make if it's really up to you. Yeah. So if it makes sense to you, that's up to you. Mnanichekelea. Ni sawa tu. Anyway, have a fantastic rest of the day and see you on the next episode. Bye. 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 If it's that,
Hey.
and